So what's every championship club the best at? Let's find out. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Bit of an interesting one coming at you today. I've gone through every championship club to find an individual stat for what they've been best at so far this season. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like. If we could hit 300 likes, that would be massively appreciated. Before we do jump into anything though, I must give a big shout out to our sponsors over at OneFootball. OneFootball was actually really helpful in me compiling this video, looking into some of the stats from championship clubs so far this season. So if you want to get involved, check it out in the top line of the description down below. Get live updates to your phone whenever a goal goes in, read up on all the latest stats, and also get some transfer gossip to your phone as well. We love that throughout January, don't we? But without any further ado, guys, let's just hop into this one. Starting out with Barnsley, who are the comeback kings of the championship. They've won more points than any other championship side after falling behind in a match. 13 of their points so far this season they picked up from losing positions, which is a really good characteristic to have. As well for Barnsley, they also top the championship for the most amount of interceptions per 90 and the most amount of tackles per 90 as well. Really tenacious side. They average 17.4 tackles per 90, which is really impressive. Birmingham have scored more headers this season than any other championship side, so obviously when you go up against Birmingham, the aerial threat is something that you always have to watch out for. They scored 7 headers so far this season, which, like I say, is the most in the championship. They got a few big guys in that team, haven't they? And it's sort of, I suppose, an Aita Karanka characteristic, being good from set pieces, and so far this season Birmingham proved that. Blackburn Rovers are good at leaving things late. They've scored more goals after the 90-minute mark than any other championship side. 4 of their goals so far this season have come in stoppage time at the end of a match. I think having that sort of never say die attitude when you're going into winning matches late can only be a positive, really. Bournemouth are the best championship side for scoring goals outside of the box. They've scored more goals from outside the box than any other championship side. Actually, 12 of their goals so far this season have come from outside the box. I mean, they have immense quality in those areas. I'm thinking back to that outrageous goal Lewis Cook scored earlier in this season. Obviously, David Brooks and Stanislas can be really deadly from those positions, and Danjuma earlier on into the season as well. Bristol City are actually the nicest team in the championship. They commit the least amount of fouls per 90, and that's reflected in the amount of yellow cards they picked up. Only 17 for Bristol City so far this season, which is the lowest in the championship. I don't know, would you see that as a positive or a negative angle? I suppose you can take that one each way, really. You know, sometimes I think you need your team to be a little bit nastier, don't you, to really grind through these games. But Bristol City, fair play, you're winning the fair play award so far this season. Brentford can boast that they've gone on the longest unbeaten run so far this season, and it is actually still going on. So they're now 15 games unbeaten in the championship, which is the longest unbeaten run we've seen this far into the championship. Really impressive stuff. They had a bit of a mixed start to the season, but since then they've completely been flying up the championship, and it's a real test of character to go 15 games unbeaten in this league as, you know, as competitive as the championship. Cardiff are the best team aerially in the championship. They win more aerial duels than any other championship side per 90. 33.5 they win on average every match, obviously. Kiefer Moore's a massive part of that. He himself is the best individual player at winning individual battles in the air, and that's actually reflected with the amount of corners they've scored so far this season. So Cardiff have scored from 5 corners, which is more than any other championship side so far this season. Coventry are actually the most unlucky side in the championship. They've hit the woodwork the most times this season. 16 times already Coventry have come this far away from scoring, and that's considerably the highest in the championship. So the second most is Stoke, who have hit the post 9 times. Coventry are way out in front with 16 there. They're also a little bit guilty for giving penalties away. They've given away 8 so far this season, which is the most in the championship. Derby have had a bit of a rocky season, but they are still the best free kick takers in the league. They've scored from 3 direct free kicks so far this season, which is currently the most in the championship. Obviously, Martin Wycorn being a large factor in that one. Huddersfield are the highest scoring championship side in the first 45 minutes. 16 of their goals have come in the first half of matches, which is the most in the championship. So obviously they're quite fast to start games. They just need to find that same consistency in the second half now. Luton have been fairly unlucky. They've scored more own goals than any other championship side so far this season. 3 own goals so far. I think, as we'd expect from a Neil Warnock Middlesbrough side, they've been really tight defensively, and that's reflected in this stat. They faced the fewest amounts of shots on target so far this season. Only 55 shots have been on target against Middlesbrough so far this season, which is considerably the best in the Championship. Going forward, they've also been caught offside the most amount of times, so their strikers need to learn the offside rule. 54 times Middlesbrough have been caught offside this season, which is the most in the league. Millwall are good at leaving things late in the first half. They scored more goals in stoppage time for the first half than any other Championship side, so after that 45-minute mark, 3 of their goals have come in that time frame so far this season. They also have the most accurate crosses per 90, averaging about 5.6 a game. Norwich so far this season are basically the Manchester United of the Championship. They've scored more penalties than any other Championship side, but in all seriousness, it's a little bit funny that this stat's popped up, because I remember in their last promotion season they were absolutely hopeless from the penalty spot. They had several different takers, but no one could keep their composure from the penalty spot. But that's changed this season. 6 penalties scored, more than any other Championship side. They also average the most possession per 90. Obviously Norwich are a very possession heavy side under Daniel Farke, with the average possession being around the 58% mark. Now Nottingham Forest certainly have experience on their side. They're actually the oldest team in the Championship, with an average age of that squad being 28.1 years old, which is fairly old, you have to say. We mentioned this one in the last transfer rumour roundup video. I'd like to see Forest investing in a few more younger players. I know that Alex Mighton is now starting to come through, which I think is a really positive sign for the future for Forest, but obviously quite a few over 30s playing in there at the moment. For Preston North End, Alex Neil's team tucks are obviously quite effective, because we've scored more goals in the opening 50 minutes of the second half than any other Championship side. 9 goals have come for Preston in that time frame so far this season, so obviously we do get that little bit of bounce when we do come back out from the dressing room. I think Alex Neil can be quite an intense manager, so in those situations seemingly knows how to get the best out of his players. For QPR, not so much a good stat here. They've missed more big chances than any other Championship side so far this season. 29 big chances they've missed so far this season, and you'd think that that would start to head in the right direction now that they've completed the deal for Charlie Austin. You know, we've mentioned it countless times on the channel so far how good some of their creative outlets have been, but have just been let down by some pretty poor finishing so far this season. Austin may be the remedy to that stat, but yeah, at the moment that one doesn't reflect too kindly on them. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Reading are the most clinical side in the Championship currently. They score with 10.6% of the shots they take, which is an unbelievable amount of efficiency. Obviously Lucas Giles had a large hand to play in that. His goals to minutes ratio has been superb this season. Add to that as well, Reading are also the most successful dribblers in the Championship. For Rotherham United, you certainly don't want to get on the wrong side of them. They commit the most fouls in the league. 15.8 fouls they give away every match on average. That's currently the most in the Championship, so obviously they like to make things quite scrappy in the middle. And continuing on the same sort of theme, Sheffield Wednesday have been shown the most red cards so far this season. 5 red cards to their name already, Sheffield Wednesday, this far into this season. Each of the 5 red cards picked up have been by different players. Obviously one of those was their game away at Deepdale. Preston went on to win by 1-0 after Josh Windass was sent off fairly early. And then following on from that one, Stoke have been the most booked side so far this season. 43 yellow cards Stoke have picked up so far this season. That is a whole load of yellow cards in there. Stoke obviously like a tactical foul here and there, don't they? Defensively, Swansea have been the best team in the Championship so far this season for both goals conceded and clean sheets as well. The fact that they've only conceded 13 goals at the halfway mark of this season is an absolutely phenomenal defensive return. Added to that as well, they've also kept the most amount of clean sheets, 13 clean sheets this season to go alongside that. I think when you take into consideration as well that they sold their best defender in the summer with Joe Rodon, the fact that they've still gone on and improved defensively, massive testament there to Steve Cooper and the way he set them up. Watford are the best at scoring early goals in the Championship. They've scored more goals in the opening 15 minutes of matches than any other Championship side. 7 goals have come in that time frame so far this season, so obviously Watford like quite a fast start really, and something that's probably played against them so far this season is taking the lead early and then just sitting back on that. They need to go for the kill a little bit more. But added to that as well, they're also the most successful side at home so far this season. No Championship team has picked up more points at home than Watford have, so Vicarage Road has been a real fortress for them so far this season. Not a lot of sides will get many points there this season, you feel. And then to finish off with Wickham, who are the best at blocking shots in the Championship. Of course, they've had a few matches where they've really been under the cosh and forced to defend quite deep into their box, but they have blocked more shots than any other Championship side. 95 blocks they've registered so far this season, so they certainly are putting their bodies on the line to ensure they're not conceding. Speaking of conceding as well, late goals haven't been too kind to Wickham Wycombe so far this season. They've conceded more goals after the 90-minute mark than any other Championship side. 4 goals they've conceded after that time frame this far into the season. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. So if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. I really enjoy making these sorts of videos, doing the research for this video especially. I've really enjoyed having a bit of a deeper dive into each Championship club and having a bit of a look into the more detailed stats. But like I say, if you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Please do subscribe for a bit of regular Championship content as well. But apart from that, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.